Hello, everyone. My name is Alina Baimen, the CEO of EdHeroes. And um, so I'll start with this. Picture that you are 16, you leave school by 16, by 21, you're out on the streets, you have no backup plan, no degree, everyone's betting against you, but fast forward in the future, you've IPO'd startups, you run a $10 million venture fund and invest in founders from Europe to India to Latin America. And today we're not just talking about what's wrong with school, we're talking about what actually works, like skills and mindset and chaos that real life teaches you better than any classroom ever could. And so today we're speaking with the son of an Algerian immigrant who grew up in the suburbs of Lille, France, dropped out of school at 16, and today he's helping build some of the most exciting companies all around the globe. Last year, we spoke with Noah and we focused on your life as an immigrant and cultural significance in your personal life. But this year, I want to focus more on the life skills that you've acquired through your personal experience. So we're talking about education, not the type that you get from a textbook, the type you get when you're thrown into the deep end and have to figure it out all on your own. Noa Khamallah, we're so happy to have you here. Welcome.
Welcome, my friend. Thanks for having me.
Very excited. No, so tell us a little bit more. You left school at 16, and most people would call that kind of the end of your journey, the end of all the chances. But for you, it was just the very beginning. What happened after you left school?
Thanks for this. I like to see that as every day in life being a new beginning, right? I think every day that you're granted to be alive is a new beginning uh, and a new chance to do something that really speaks to you. And I feel leaving to school, leaving school was a decision that matched who I was back in the days, right? I mean, like if you just skip school all the time, skip class all the time, get punished all the time, you don't absorb any of the knowledge. Of course, it's you're not only wasting your precious time, you're wasting others' time as well because you're just here to distract people in the classroom. So this doesn't work. And it was a great decision. I can say that today at 42 years old. Uh, while I will not recommend it to anyone because it's not made for everybody, it offers a simple answer that 5 plus 5 makes 10, and so does 15 minus 5.
Makes sense. It's a really tough journey to lead, and it makes sense that it's not for everyone. There's
You
definitely
went to school, you, Alina.
yeah, I went to school, I went to university. That was a path that was laid out for me by my parents, by my family. It's what's, considered normal. You go to school, you go to university, you do your job. But I think there's so many life skills that you learn outside of that and that I did. And you've mentioned in some of your previous interviews that, being homeless on the street actually taught you how to navigate people better than any education, any school ever could. But what did you learn about yourself and about others during that time out of school?
Well, congratulations to you for mastering being able to sit in class and learn and absorb all this knowledge and make something of it. It's something I couldn't. In that sense, you guys are my heroes. Congrats. I've always admired people who were academic for being a non-academic myself because you folks pull stuff that I can't. You guys look at the teacher and I look at the window. Look, I think there are different types of skill sets, right? And I feel the skill set of connecting with people, understanding social behaviors, and learn to rely on your gut. I think this is something I wish people could teach us in school is to rely on our gut feelings and to build that self inner confidence to act on our gut feeling. Not many do that. And unfortunately, some circumstances they only leave you with this your gut feeling, and that's the only thing you got. While you ask a penny to somebody, wondering if that one's gonna give me $1, or if that one's going to spit on me, or while being in prison, incarcerated, and thinking, hey, is the guy sleeping in the bunk bed ahead of me is going to wake up in the middle of the night, try to rape me or knife me out? This triggers some very interesting survival skills that were not taught to me at school, such as build connections with people out of nothing. And this helped me in interviews later on in life. Yeah, I think you can really build fast connections with people, really fast, within like a minute or two, and by creating relatedness, right? If the guy in front of you is bald and you're also bald, oh my God, so I guess you don't use shampoo anymore. Ah, me too, and blah, blah. And you just go into that and you create a report together. This will make your conversation way easier down the line. And ultimately, sometimes it's that subtle nuance from a fast created connection, a relatedness that helps you land the job, because equal resume, equal degree, equal skill set, equal salary requirement. What's left if you like the guy or not? Huh. So that's that kind of interpersonal skills that they don't teach you that at school.
Do you think it's a skill that you would have when you're born? Does everyone have that life skill?
Like you, how do you make friends today, Alina? Right? You learn
That's a good question.
you run EdHeroes, right? How do you make friends today? Think about it.
I guess similar interests, similar. I think proximity is often it. It is the people that you have been close to that you retain, or that I am in close proximity with now. They become my friends over time.
Mm, mm. Uh, have you ever like just bumped into somebody at an airport, in a taxi, or where if you eat alone in a restaurant, and just created a connection from scratch?
Yeah,
All the
absolutely.
time.
With you, when we met, we spoke for all in all maybe a minute or two, and it was
That's true.
very easy.
That's true. That's true. Uh,
But you're
see,
special.
oh, thanks. So the question is, do you feel we should teach people in school that, hey, you have an academic degree, but how about social skills and interpersonal skills? I think that should be itself a course on its own.
Yeah, social skills are definitely something that the school doesn't quite focus on enough, as well as maybe critical thinking, other things. And right now we start to rely a lot on everything else. So we're talking about, all of those innovation 21st century skills, like let's learn more tech. um, but in reality, there's some clear things that are missing, and you're talking about them. What do you think that are three things that schools should be teaching us but are not currently?
But what you said, I think interpersonal skills, right? They are very important. Create new connections with people.
Mhm.
Be closer to people. Use technology to get closer to people as well. I mean, the tools that are very meant to unite us are dividing us now today,
Yeah,
right? Social media, and so on. And I think school should be a heaven where we teach skill sets that will allow children to evolve in the world of tomorrow, not the world of yesterday, right? And for that, it requires the folks at the ministry to be fast, which they are not.
yeah,
That's one thing. And the second thing I think we should teach kids is interpersonal skills, socializations, without falling into wokeism, because that's dangerous,
yeah.
right? And those are my positions, and I stand by them. That's very dangerous. And third, we have to teach folks how to make money and independent thinking, right? They don't teach you at school how to save money, where to invest your money, how to be economically free. No, they tell you get a degree, get a job, have a paycheck, and then 60 years later you go retire with a peanut, and in the middle of that you get 1 month vacation. And we are supposed to call it a life. So I think, yeah, financial literacy, it's something very important to teach to folks. I think so.
Yeah, it's very interesting how a lot of people are starting to stray away from that narrative of having a corporate job as prestigious, and if you work at, say, Amazon, it's not the biggest accomplishment. Can you say that you have really lived, that you have a happy life? Recently, when my friends leave a job, we throw congratulatory parties just because people start people start to pursue what they really, really, really like. That's very, very interesting.
Yeah, they have balls, huh? Let's say. I mean, you are the result of your parents' sacrifice, right? I'm the result of my grandmother and my truck driving dad's sacrifices, right? So in that sense, we stand on their shoulders, so we can see further. And what do you put in place today so that your children, should you decide to have some, uh, and anyone who has children today, can be properly equipped. And yeah, I think socialization, interpersonal skills, financial literacy, and that kind of stuff can really, 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 really help them make a difference down the line. Voilà.
Yeah.
There.
I mean, it sounds perfect. And, the schools are often still kind of the way that they're teaching as well. You're talking about interpersonal skills, but
Uh-huh.
there's also this whole digital aspect. There's social media. There's so much of this world that is now part of our everyday world. Like we're using Instagram, TikTok every single day. And do you think the schools are maybe stuck a little bit in the offline space? Are we not teaching enough maybe of how to navigate in the digital space?
Yeah, that's it. So you're saying about digitization at school? Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, or just getting kids familiar, because the kind of people that you come across, like the scams, the connections that you build, sometimes you have that chemistry with the people in real life, but it's often the people that you see are online, and I feel like that gut feeling doesn't always work in those situations. I don't know, maybe you've encountered something like that.
Well, I scammed folks in my youth, and I would say this was back 20 years ago. And had these folks trusted more their gut feeling, they wouldn't have been screwed, right? That's one thing, and it comes from both sides of the barriers because I've been both a thief and a cop, and it always goes down to that in both sides, is that folks should really, really trust their gut feeling. Seriously, that's one thing. Second thing is, we have something called AI today that can generate human beings as much as nature does, and create an entire persona, and you wouldn't even make the difference. And that's one of the greatest dangers that's coming ahead. And I think while children will have to learn how to use these tools, right, and enhance them, uh, they are a bigger threat uh, for them, I think, down the line, because which society are you building if tomorrow you just have to come home and have a working humanoid to whom you can make love with, right? And therefore not have the necessity to go interact with other human beings, fall, stand back up, create something again, heartbroken, experience again joy, and so on. So I think digitization, and especially in underdeveloped countries, it's something that will come faster now. And how do we integrate a hell of philosophy, regulatory safeguards, and a hell of socialization, so that we don't end up having human robots running the world? I think it's one of the biggest threats we'll face in the next 20 to 30 years. I have no doubt.
I think that's something that maybe we're seeing right now a little bit. It is people who believe that there's things that they need to do, and before it wasn't necessarily digital robots, it was a regime, it was the belief of a country, it can be a belief of religion. If you follow something blindly, I guess, like you say, without trusting your gut, without thinking this is right for me, and a lot of the time it's difficult to listen to your gut. So you go and you follow a path that has been laid out for you, you make mistakes. Maybe you figure out that this is not your path, maybe you don't, right? This is something that everyone struggles with. But I think in our society, it is often so normalized to not make mistakes. In the education system, you can't make mistakes. You can't get a bad grade. You have to be perfect. You have to go in a path that they're teaching you because this is the perfect way. But you have clearly learned how to, make mistakes and how to learn from them. Do you think that this is a normal process? Should we normalize making mistakes? Should people learn to do that?
Okay. On the mistake part, look, there are three subtopics there. One is wherever you grow up, whoever you are, you will have to deal with the expectation the outside world has of you. You will have to deal with the expectation your family has of you, society has of you, and friends also have of you, right? And this, by definition, prelays a path. If you want to break out of this, you're going to have to accept something called rejection, because folks don't like change. They don't. Folks don't appreciate difference. And also, just because something is tradition doesn't make it right. Okay? So, if you want to break out of the path that you feel you have on your shoulder and break the generational curses that are in there to just not be a copy paste but to be the whole you, you're going to have to face rejection. Rejection also is synonymous somehow, at least to me, of falling. But shall you decide to do this, you will give birth to a part of yourself you don't know right now. I think this to me was the biggest achievement through a lot of pain, which enabled me to discover true joy. You won't experience true joy if you didn't experience true pain. One caused the other.
Do you think people should seek out pain to experience joy?
Well, that's a good question. I don't think you need to seek it. It will come at some point, right? And then it connects to mistake. Like, we live in a world where and it goes back to expectation, materialistic realization, social realization, educational realization, financial realization, familial realization. Fuck, I'm just born and I'm supposed to get all this checkbox done. And how about I can do what the hell I want? And the normalization of mistake. I mean, look, scientifically speaking, for your brain, the best way to learn, Alina, is to make mistakes. You learn by error. Your brain learns by error. It doesn't learn with non-errors. It learns with error. If you do something right, your brain is not going to learn from it. If you do something wrong, it will compute. So why are we denying the very way our operating system works? Just to look good. Just to build a society based on perfectionism. And that's wrong, Alina. That's very wrong. We have to accept human beings for what they are. Imperfect beasts. Fucked up beasts. And this is what makes them beautiful. Normalize mistakes. You know what? It's like the grade system at school. We put children in competition with each other right away. You end up at the end of the list. I mean, especially if you can't compute much. How is that even beneficial for kids? I don't get it. Did you do well at school, Alina? Tell me.
I did I did fairly well, but I think my parents never really looked over my shoulder to look at my grades. I was never punished for bad grades, and I found learning and competition fun. For me, it was interesting. And for me, I also wanted to be liked by teachers. I wanted to, do well in the subjects that I liked. And I had the opportunity to leave the subjects that I didn't like. I still like learning. I don't think it is the case for every subject. I don't think it is the case for every person, not with every teacher. And it is such a unique experience to really, I think that's what school should really be about, right? It's to learn how to like learning.
C'est
It's
vrai.
not necessarily teaching you something, it's just, and that skill I think I have acquired, but not necessarily in school, but with my parents, with my grandmother actually. She made learning fun. She read with me. She taught me numbers. She taught me how to read. And all of those small things, she made them into games. And later when I grew up, I made learning into games with myself as well. So I think that was it for me.
You like to have fun.
Who doesn't?
Boring folks. Or folks who take themselves seriously. Hey, well done, your grandma. Good job, huh?
Grandma was incredible. You're also talking about all the rejection that you need to take, and I think we still have that shell or our ego, and sometimes when you take a lot of rejection, we start to kind of curl up and start giving up. But what would you say has been your motivation, or what can be a motivation to keep going and push through all of the rejection?
That you got to learn to endure, and that other people's opinion of you doesn't have to become your reality. It doesn't matter. Otherwise, you lock yourself in the prison of your own doing, right? So, how you cope with rejection? Well, cope with rejection by not making it bigger than it is, right? And that's one thing. It's not the end of the world. If you're lucky, you still have food on the table. You still have a roof when you come home, a warm bed waiting for you, and then your basic needs are covered. Then it's about finding the next opportunity and the next one and the next one and the
Yeah.
next one. So don't make it bigger than what it is. Because if you do so, then you allow the non problem to become a problem. Then you allow the folks who didn't see the best in you or didn't value you at your worth to invade your head and your happiness, which you get to protect.
We built it up in our own heads.
Yeah. I mean, how do you deal with rejection, Alina?
I think I try to brush it off sometimes. I very persistent. I think if I really need something from someone, I'll get it one way or another.
Including WhatsApp.
Yeah, just messaging. Thank you for replying to all the spams. Thank you, Noah.
Are you kidding me? It's amazing.
I'm also thinking that a lot of the people that will be that are listening right now to this, they're learning so much more from TikTok, social media than a lot of their classrooms. And you talked about self-learning, and a lot of the things you're saying are very liberating and true, and they're not the things that you learn in a classroom. Do you think that what is your approach to choosing your own adventure, leaving education? How do you know that it's not for everyone? Who knows?
It's not for everyone because if you have the comfort of being loved, a good structure, family system, and you're not gonna seek to be in shit, right?
Psychologically healthy people are a mystery.
Yeah, correct. So I didn't have this whole thing. So to me, it was not a hard bet. It was natural. It is the best thing that ever happened to me. Even if I admire you, academic folks. I'm gonna call you Academia. I will change your name and put it Academia on my WhatsApp now.
There's people way, 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 way smarter with a lot more educational background. I'm somewhere in the middle.
But look, I think what we can say to folks and anybody listening here is if you feel school is not for you, do not say for the sake of your parents or for the sake of whatever expectations are there. Only you know what's good for you, period. Especially when you reach 17, 18, 19 years old, these very defining times, right? Nobody else knows what you have in your gut. what you have in your head, what you have in your heart. So pursue whatever is making your heart beat. Period. Do not compromise. And ultimately, you will gain more respect. Because not only you did something that was not perceived as conformist, but you did something that honors yourself, and you knew it was hard, and you did it hard, and you won hard. But most fundamentally, again, I repeat, it's really not for everybody,
Yeah,
because
of
it's
course.
the underdog journey is as real and as tough as it gets. And resulting of that, you think differently, you see differently, you love differently, you lead different. Everything you do is different. That's what I wish you, Alina.
I think, it's very true. I think it's very difficult to be. I'm thinking about you talking about seeking pain and going through things and hardship, and I feel like you often think that you have to go through hardship, but I was really lucky, and when I went through hardship, there were people to support me and to love me, and this is why I was very lucky, and it never felt like true hardship. But it's not necessarily that I had to seek it out. It came and it went, and it was wonderful that what I have others might not have. What others might have is even more. It really, really depends from person to person. I think you also gave some very beautiful advice of your pursuing your destiny, I guess, of what you lay out for yourself. I think there's many people, many kids listening out there who don't necessarily want to go to school, who think I won't make it, who don't want to pursue the education, or parents, whose kids are not necessarily as good at school as we think they might be. And what would you say to those kids and to the parents who are sitting in the classroom or sitting out there thinking, "Hey, this is not for me"? What would you say to them?
I'll tell them to believe in whatever your kids feel. Do not try to project into them what you feel maybe you should have done for yourself, right? I think parents do what they think is best for their children. I guess most of the parents do. And they have to push on that. However, at some point, they also got to listen and land on their feet on whatever uncommon decision might be coming, is to say to their kid, hey, uh, I fundamentally disagree with you. I really think it's wrong to do that, to leave school or to not work at school. However, if you want to pursue something else, then we will be with you. We'll support you and not reject you.
That's beautiful. I think that would touch a lot of people's hearts hearing something like that unconditional love from their parents. It's
Yeah, I think
quite
so. It's important.
it's quite beautiful. Don't make me cry right now. This is not the time or the place.
It's like you, Alina, when you're a baby. I have a baby now, right? And a baby, it's the only thing on earth that will give you unconditional love
Yeah.
without asking anything in return, just to be loved back.
Yeah.
I think then it's good to keep it that way.
It's beautiful. Thank you for your advice, for your experience, for sharing. I think it's when it comes from the heart and it comes from personal experience, it's always indispensable. So you're actually proof that there isn't really a line in LinkedIn just to put all of your life experience into that. It's life is scrappy, it's chaotic, it's bold, and it's
Yeah,
very different.
it is. It is. And make your, I think, I will also say to people, in an era of fake news, over information, to learn to become intellectually free and independent, right? What's written at the head of CNN or God knows ain't necessarily what's really happening. And the same way, what we say about somebody ain't necessarily the truth either. Make your own opinion about people. Make your own opinion about facts. Why are facts presented to me this way? where this is coming from, how is it coming that way, and why. Don't be intellectually lazy. I, at least for staff in companies or whoever I meet on my daily life, or when I get recommended to speak to somebody, I always stop short and say, "Hey, don't tell me much. I will make my own mind, my own opinion, my own experience. Do the same."
Trust your gut.
Yeah, it goes back to that.
Yeah.
Trust your gut. Uh, don't fall into an era of overinformation and fake newses, and be intellectually free. And it's
Yeah.
a hard thing to do because it requires effort, Alina. It requires a lot of effort. In my history books at schools, I've never read that the Muslims came up with math, the algebra,
Yeah.
the
And
very
we're
thing.
using Arabic numbers.
Yeah. The very thing we use today for algorithm. Without algorithm, we'll have computers. They never came up with any of that shit. Let alone the first university-centric system just in madrasas that we could find in Al-Hazara back in the days, or during the golden age of Islam, and everything these guys came up with that literally made humanity better. Nothing. The only thing I could hear in school in Europe was that everything started at the Renaissance, and that before that it was Dark Ages. Period. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't hear of the Incas. I didn't hear of the Aztec. I didn't hear of the Muslims. I didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
Was very surprised, and that's why today, in an era of where everything is accessible from a click, ignorance is a choice. So I say to folks, don't be intellectually lazy. Don't scroll Instagram. Don't stay on TikTok because this will turn you tok. Don't chase followers. Don't chase likes. Uh, chase the impact you have on each single individual you come across in your life every day. I'm not a social media guy at all. I like to speak to folks when I see them.
I'm horrible at social media.
Are you?
Our social media team knows I've opened, closed my account because I don't know how to do it. But we have incredible people, in the team who know how to do that stuff, who are much, much better. And we'll leave it to the professionals.
Oh, that's better. That's
Yeah.
better. Oh, voila. But yeah. Thanks, huh?
Thank you. Noah, thank you so much for your insight. I think you just gave us a lot of tips that we wouldn't usually hear at school, that we wouldn't hear necessarily from our parents or from people close to us. And I think it's very valuable to have that. Thank you for being real. Thank you for reminding us that intelligence doesn't always come from a diploma, and there's so much to intelligence. And to all the people listening, if this conversation has really fired you up, you can go send your kid, you can go send it to your kid or someone who needs to hear it, maybe. And if your school doesn't teach financial literacy, emotional regulation, how to build an empire from scratch, you can send them this. They'll get a little bit more inspired. Um, yeah, and hopefully follow through with their dreams.
Yeah, correct.
Thank you,
I
Noah.
agree. Thanks to you for having me.